Hey everyone, so it's Makaliah with Mak and Makeup, and this is a day in the life baking with me. I've done 3 of these videos now, and they're pretty easy to film, but I really need to find a way that I can film you guys in a way that you can actually see what's really going on. There's so many times where I'm just getting in the way. So I am making chocolate cupcakes, vanilla cupcakes. I do make a lemon cake as well for my future father-in-law, and then I made a chocolate cake, although I did not show much of the chocolate cake because it ended up being a disaster. I don't know what happened. So those are the treats that I made. So in this clip, what you're seeing, I'm making the chocolate cupcakes. The chocolate and vanilla cupcakes were for my fiance's work because I've made them before and I guess they were requesting them again. So what you see me doing is basically combining the wet with the dry ingredients, but you do like part of the wet, some of the buttermilk, and then the rest of the wet, and then the rest of the buttermilk. So that's like what you kind of see me doing, is those alternating incorporations, if you want to call it that. These turned out really good, and here's me just scooping them in the pan. They turned out really delicious though. I was a fan of them when I did my taste test. This recipe made about 14 cupcakes. Now, I personally kind of want to find a recipe that is more like how the vanilla cupcakes were, like just more dense overall. I kind of like my cupcakes that way. And these were dense, but like I want the batter to be dense, if that makes sense. So anyways, this is just me scooping them up, and then you'll see me throw them in the oven. And then after that, I started on the vanilla cupcakes. And this recipe made 12 vanilla cupcakes, the one that I'm doing. And I tried to make them a little extra vanilla-y by adding vanilla bean paste as well as extract. I don't know if that's like a big no-no or not, but they did end up being very vanilla-y. So that's exactly what I was going for. But right here, I'm just doing the butter and the sugar, just kind of like, I literally did this for like 5 minutes. My arm was so tired after doing it for that long. But I was essentially just like beating those 2 things together for quite some time, and it felt like forever. Especially by the time I got to the end of it. And yes, my arm gets in the way a few times. I'm sorry. I told you I need to find a better way to record it. So anyways, I beat those up for a while, and then I put the eggs in a separate bowl, and I only did that because I hate when I get shells in there. So I do them in a separate bowl usually, and then make sure that I have no shells. So there's the vanilla, and then I add the vanilla bean paste, which I only did like, I think, a 1/4 teaspoon, I want to say. I did not do a whole lot because I didn't want it to like completely overpower, but like I said, I just really wanted that vanilla taste to it. So now I'm doing incorporations of dry to wet, alternating with buttermilk. So you can see me kind of doing that. And usually you do 3 dry additions, 2 buttermilk additions. So you start with dry and end with dry, and then buttermilk is kind of in between. So yeah, and this batter was like nice and thick. I really did like it, and it tasted delicious. So this is me scooping it, and it basically was like one whole ice cream scoop, I guess, of batter that I put in there. And it filled up the cupcake pan, I want to say like 3/4 of the way, not quite full, but almost. And they were like the perfect size. My chocolate cupcakes, they unfortunately were like a little too short. Like they didn't quite get all the way to the top. So that's why I'm like, I really want to find a thick batter recipe like this vanilla one, but for chocolate cupcakes that can be just as dense and delicious as these ones are. But also like fill up those cups a little bit better, because I could have added more batter obviously to those cupcakes. I didn't think it would be that big of a deal because I did it almost 3/4 of the way, but apparently it just was not enough. But yeah, so I'm just adding the batter to the cupcake liners, and then I'm going to throw that in the oven. The chocolate cupcakes are already done and they have finished, so it's just the vanilla that needs to cook. And while the vanilla was cooking, that's when I started on the lemon cake, I believe. but I guess we'll find out here in a second when it shows me putting them in there because I cannot recall which one I did, but I kind of gave them like a little tap tap shake, you know, kind of get them a little flat. So I want to say I did the vanilla cake. Those are the cupcakes. Not the vanilla cake, sorry. It was a lemon cake. Yes, this is the lemon cake recipe. So off camera, I zested a whole large lemon, and actually no, that's all I did. I just zested the lemon off camera because it took me so long. You guys would have no idea. And I did not have like the proper like zesting tool. So it literally took me forever to zest it because I had to use some weird contraption that was not a zester. And it took me some time, but we got it done. We got it completed and I was able to make the cake. My fiance's family loved the cake. I did a cream cheese frosting with it and they said it was absolutely delicious. So the amount of cake that I made was enough for 2 6-inch round cakes. And there was a little bit of an issue with it on the second layer. I don't know what happened, but my batter, my cake itself totally kind of stuck on the bottom on just like one corner. So I must have not had like enough butter, because that's what I used for my pan was butter and flour. I must have not had enough or something because it totally like stuck over there, and it kind of sucked because the layer was ruined and I had to like basically do it myself. So here's me buttering the pan as you can see, and then I put some flour in there and just tapped it around. This was like at, I don't know, 10 p.m. at night, guys. Like I was so tired. Okay, so this is me making the chocolate cake while the lemon cake was cooking. And this was also a 6-inch cake, so I needed my 6-inch pans. I only had 2 of those, so I had to wait for them to be done anyways. But I did make the batter for the cake, and like nothing was really wrong with my cake. I just did not cut it good. And actually what happened is I let it sit out for too long after refrigerating it, that it kind of like came to room temp a little too much. And so when I went to go like cut and then try and decorate, it just was so crumbly. It sucked. But I just wanted to kind of like practice the filling, if anything, which is like a chocolate ganache filling, and honestly it is what it is. But there's me taking those lemon cakes out, and like I said, these were so good. I've never done a flavored cake like that, only chocolate and vanilla, so this was good practice. Next I want to try doing like a strawberry sort of cake. But yeah, and then what you're seeing now is me making the buttercream for the cupcakes. This is a whole new day, so this is the next, not morning, but like afternoon. So I'm making the vanilla buttercream first, and I did use a little bit of vanilla bean paste in this as well, because again, I wanted that like true vanilla flavor. It took forever to not hand mix, but you know, like use the electric mixer on this. Like literally it was not incorporating quickly like it usually does. And it's because I just added all the powdered sugar. I wasn't even thinking. I just added it all with the butter. And then I was like, oh, this is gonna take a long time for it to like really incorporate, because it has to like go through that process. You guys know what I'm talking about with buttercream. Like it starts off like looking really scary and then it looks great. So anyways, I got it to the consistency that I need. And then I added the heavy whip, and then I added just a little bit more powdered sugar, and then of course the salt and the vanilla flavoring. So anyways, after I made the vanilla buttercream, I got out a different bowl to do the chocolate buttercream. So that's what the second bowl is. And I was like on autopilot for a second with it, and I almost added way too much powdered sugar to my original batch, because I was just like, okay, I need this much powdered sugar. And then I was like, wait, this is chocolate, which means I don't need as much powdered sugar. So I did have to spoon some out. It was very embarrassing for me, mostly because no one else was here, but it was embarrassing for me. So there's me making that chocolate buttercream. And again, this took so long to like really incorporate. I was getting I was getting a little nervous. I was sweating bullets because I was running on fumes essentially. I didn't have a lot of time before my fiance was going to be leaving work. And I wanted to deliver the cupcakes when he was there because I didn't want to have to do it myself. I wanted him to do it because he knows his coworkers. So anyways, it finally came together. It was delicious. I didn't have to add much. I don't even think I ended up adding salt to it because it was already good as is. And it was like, oh, I did add salt. I lied. I just watched the evidence in front of me. So I did make the chocolate buttercream, and then this is me just frosting those cupcakes. So essentially what I did was some vanilla cupcakes got vanilla frosting, and then some chocolate cupcakes got vanilla frosting, and then some of them got, or I guess the ones that didn't get vanilla got chocolate frosting. I don't know why I was trying to complicate that. So when I did the chocolate frosting, some of the vanilla got chocolate and then some of the chocolate got chocolate. So it was kind of like a little bit of both. The first time I made cupcakes, I did vanilla with chocolate and then chocolate cupcakes with vanilla frosting. But this time I kind of just like mixed it up a little bit. So if someone wanted a little something different, they could. So I frosted all those, and I always use this pan to keep them in because then they can pull them out of there easily. It's easy to transport them as well. I don't really have like formal boxes for cupcakes and stuff, but I probably should get some eventually. But yeah, so there they are. And then in this clip, I am making the cream cheese frosting for the lemon cake. So that's what you're watching me make now. This one was pretty easy to make. It's just a block of cream cheese, a stick of butter at room temp, and then you add powdered sugar. I think this was like 3 cups. Yes, 3. It looks like 3 cups of powdered sugar with like a little bit of vanilla and salt, and it tasted really good. And they loved the frosting. They thought it tasted amazing with the cake. So win-win there. Okay, I lied. It's 4 cups. See, this is why I can't do it days later. I don't know what happened. It's all a blur. So anyways, it tasted really good and it went perfectly with the cake. So you're gonna see clips of me like putting the cake together. There's my little like trial of it. So me putting the cake together, I don't know. So the bottom layer was fine, okay? The first layer, totally fine, totally normal. It was the layer after that was like a little messed up, and I had to like make it smaller, and I tried to make it round and it didn't really end up round, but it's fine because we got enough servings out of it and everyone loved it. So anyways, this is my attempt at frosting it and getting it put together. So I'm just gonna like have some music play and you guys can just watch me do this in real time. It's not gonna be perfect, but I do appreciate any tips or tricks. So just go ahead and watch me do this. So I'm sure you guys see that little like tiny piece of cake on top. That was the 6-inch layer that turned into like, I don't know, like a 4-inch layer. I have no idea how small I made it, but I'm just working on frosting it. I realized that you're supposed to like frost each layer individually, and also it helps to cut the cake in half. But I did not do that. So it is what it is. But yeah, so overall it didn't turn out too terrible, and I kind of had to rush to like get this to their house. So I didn't really get any like good clips of it besides what you guys are watching right now. But yeah, otherwise that was pretty much it for this day in the life baking with me. I hope you guys enjoy, And the next clip is going to be me finishing up like frosting it. You'll see me in a different outfit. That was my dinner fit. And that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.